G'day, I'm Tristan Tucker and welcome to the TRT method. Congratulations on taking your first step and visiting us online. This first video series is really giving you the basic structure of the first 3 modules. It's going to give you an insight into the benefits of my groundwork series and what it is you can do to better communicate with your horse. So probably the most common thing I hear, or the misconceptions people have about horses in general and especially their own, is horses that are coming that have had bad experiences at a show, they've become noise sensitive or horse shy, or have basic natural habits of it's difficult to clip the horse, it's difficult to shoe the horse. I think the biggest mindset change that needs to happen is that people think that he's like that because he's always been like that, or that's just the way he is. And of course he's only like that, horses are only like that because of their previous experience, and horses are only doing something wrong because they have not learned yet the right way to handle it and to handle themselves. And of course a lot of the misconceptions in the beginning when people get a glimpse maybe of a short video or a demonstration that I've given is that it's just like all other horsemanship, that it's about desensitizing and sensitizing the horse and basic horsemanship. But for me it's really about teaching the horses a concept of how to learn, and that the horses are really learning through their physical state how to create stability and confidence through understanding and knowing their body, and that they really learn a concept of how to respond to things in our human environment that wouldn't normally be natural. And so horses that are doing something wrong are often horses that are surviving or living with their own natural instincts that they're born with. And of course if they're only born knowing how to survive in nature, everything in the human environment will be scary. So my whole philosophy and the philosophy of the TRT is being able to prepare the horse the best you can, whether it be to prepare him from the very beginning and giving him an understanding of the world he's been born into, but also preparing your horse to be able to go to his first show, to ride on the trail the first time, to go into a new indoor the first time. So really the idea and the concept behind the TRT is that the horses are really learning all the things they need to know about the environment and about what it is they have to perform before they get there. So the TRT method is really the research, the information that you give the horse and rider before the exam, whatever the exam might be. And of course the better prepared you are, the more information you can give, and the more clear and easily you can present the information, the more confident and more prepared both the rider and the horse will feel. So of course the modern horses these days are very naturally sensitive and electric because it's a modern horse. We're breeding horses that are more athletic and more sensitive, and when you have that, you have a natural level of instinct that is higher. In nature, of course, when you have a horse that is naturally athletic and moves quick and is light and sensitive, he is the one in nature that will survive the longest. He is hearing the danger coming from a long way away. He is the one that's reacting first. And of course, in a sport horse, horses that are having this high natural instinct, their body is also telling them to be sensitive and to be electric. So they're listening to their body tells them that they should be alert and sharp, because that is the structure of their body. And so we first have to give them the understanding of how they can control their physical state, and that they get a different feeling from their body. Not the sharp electricness, but they feel in their body where the place is that they can be relaxed, that they can find the rest. And then of course training the other side of the horse is the mental side. How is the horse thinking when he hears something? Not only is he responding to the reaction of his body, but mentally he is thinking that he should be alert when he hears something or sees something that could be dangerous. And so when you're thinking of developing the mental side, you want to be exercising more the thinking part of the brain, the muscle inside their brain that when they hear something tells their body to relax, and not the muscle in their brain that comes natural to them that when they hear a noise or they should be suspicious that their body goes tight. So you're working really the horse from both ends. You're training the physical side, that they're in control of themselves, in control of their physical state, that's not making the mental state reactive, and mentally they're also interpreting information in a way that they exercise a technique or a concept to relax themselves. So the method is broken down into 3 basic modules, 3 steps, and like any good training, the better the breakdown, the more simple you can make each step, the better the things come together. So in the beginning, the first step is really understanding how the horse moves and being able to create a basic dialogue that you can give communication to the horse to be able to control each of the 4 feet. The only way a horse can move is through his feet, and if you get control of the feet, you get control of the horse. So that's your basic first module, getting control. You open a dialogue up that the horse understands the when, how and why he should move. Also through this first basic pattern, this is a pattern you will take through all the way up to the riding. It's a pattern that creates this natural relaxation in the horse. He has a very good understanding of where he should put his feet to create stability. The shape and the flow of the pattern is creating bending and softness in the horse's body. So through these steps, you really learn how to move around your horse, how you can create energy in your horse, how you can take energy out. And also through that process, the horse is really learning how to follow you and the energy from your body and not the energy from the environment. Each of the steps lends to itself. The very first basic pattern is creating a pattern in the horse's body that he becomes confident with because it becomes really familiar. It's something that feels good in his body. Each step from that is a progression or a refinement from the first pattern. You're able to create movement in the horse, create speed, be able to communicate with the horse at a larger distance. Then through these patterns where you create mobility and forwardness, you can take that into the next series of exercises where you are able to navigate your way through different environments. Things in the environment that a horse would normally be scared of, your horse will be able to quickly overcome. And then of course, all the groundwork modules is in preparation for the riding. All the groundwork is directly connected to the riding. So that when you get to the riding part, you yourself, as the rider, has a really good understanding how to communicate these things to your horse, which gives you confidence. You also have a really good understanding of the awareness of where your horse is, how to control each part of his body. And of course, when you know how to control the horse's body, when you know how to communicate and what to do and when to do it, when you get in the saddle, not only is your horse clear and confident, but also you become clear and confident. So we're here now to give you a practical example of all the patterns we use in our training. The first pattern is based on creating good patterns in the horse's body so that the horse is able to learn where to position their feet. I use the first patterns in the beginning to diagnose how the horses are in their body. When I come to a new horse or a clinic or a horse comes in training, this is the pattern that lets me feel how they are in their body, what they're good at, what they're not good at. It's something we use not only to create good stability and confidence through the horse's body so that we begin to make a physical change, but it gives us a really good understanding of how the horse feels about their own body. And a lot of the time, problems that we may have, or beginning a young horse 3 years old, it's really about giving them the right information about their body and how to use their body. This pattern is useful in a lot of areas, also for going to new places when we start to be able to take young horses to competition or older horses that have had problems in the past. It creates a relaxation in their body. It changes their physical posture into a state of relaxation through the horse learning that they can control each of their physical actions. So the pattern is useful in a lot of areas, and the more I'm practicing it on different horses, the more uses it seems to come up with, even for me now, doing it and having developed it for 15 years or so. So we'll take you through the first pattern and you can see a little bit what it's like. The idea is that we are able to get control of each of the horse's feet in letting the horse know where it is they need to put their feet. And so when I begin and I start to be able to give body language and energy towards the horse's feet, I want to see that they have an understanding of where to put their hind legs to create stability. Horses that obviously have a physical problem, sometimes you might have symptoms of a horse being spooky to noise or spooky to objects. It sometimes comes through this stiffness in their body. So from the beginning, if you don't have the basic controls of being able to control the horse's feet, and the horse doesn't have the flexibility and a good pattern in the way they move, their body is automatically going to be taking confidence away from them. It's like if you were going to be a ballet dancer and you have no balance at all, it's not going to make you feel that you're going to be good at ballet. And it's a little bit the same for the horse. So I just go through the first pattern of being able to move a horse's hind legs, that they're standing a little bit in and under the body, creating this bend. I'm trying to get the horses to then follow my rein. And when I'm getting the horses to follow the rein, I'm beginning the controls of getting control of the front legs from the rein, backwards and sideways. And so when I'm controlling the front end, I'm really getting an understanding how the horse is in their balance. Is it a horse that is pointing north and forwards? Is it a horse that's really backing up? From this feeling through the rope, I can get to determine where the front feet need to go. Is it a horse where the front legs need to step behind, like Safiri is doing here, or is it a horse that needs to be encouraged to step forward and across? So we're able to help really the horse's flexibility, their balance, and their stability in their posture to be able to give them confidence in riding, but also just within themselves. So all the physical body exercises that we do all relate firstly to each other, and then of course to the riding. Everything we do on the ground is directly related to the riding. We're trying to give the horse a good understanding of the coordination and positioning of the body that makes them better balanced with better stability and in a better posture, their own posture made for their body, that we take on to the riding, so that then everything in the riding also becomes easy. You build a framework that creates a good posture and good stability and confidence in the horse, so that they can take that into whatever it is you want to do. So the next pattern, of course, is again relating to the first one. We are just changing the position. Once you have established the basic controls of all of the feet, the only thing that is changing is your position. You're moving from a direct position which is close to the horse. You're advancing, so you're getting further away. You're asking from more distance, and then of course eventually you're going to ask the same patterns from the back. So the horse is really understanding and making the link of everything you want along the way. So once we have, of course, the forward, back, left and right of the front legs, the backing up is something really important for me. Of course, we always want in the beginning our young horses to go forward, but if our horses are not able to go backwards correctly, then the understanding of the forward is not 100%. You're only 50% when you understand more each side of what you're asking the horse. They can perform the other 50% better. And so everything with the whip is, of course, in the beginning giving the horse confidence. We're only using the whip in all of our exercises as an extension of the arm. It's a refinement of the first movements. So letting the horse feel that they're first confident about following the whip. So it's not something that the horses are learning to run away from the whip. That's where a lot of the exercises differ to a traditional way of training, in that we are not lunging, for instance, where the horse is learning to run from pressure and learning to be away from us, but the horse is really learning to follow the aids and what we're asking. So you see here Safiri is developing more flexion through her body, inside hind legs coming in underneath the body. She learns to flex through the right side of her back, through the shoulder, the neck, eventually to the head, and then she starts to be able to create this posture in her body that's made for her frame, made for her skeleton. And so all of the exercises is to be able to give the flexibility and confidence. And of course, all the groundwork exercises are also there for the handler or the rider. You know, it's not always about creating confidence and flexibility and mobility for the horse, but also for the rider. When the rider is going through all these groundwork exercises, it gives you a really good understanding of how your horse is and what they're thinking. And through knowing how to influence the horse and open up this line, this dialogue of being able to communicate with your horse on the ground, it gives the rider and the handler more confidence for when they get in the saddle. So from here we are able to get the horses working on the circle. And this pattern is just being able to get some forwardness in the horse, that you have some impulsion, and when you have impulsion the horse is still following the front end, with the front end to the rein, and you have connection to the hind legs. So we're able to get the horses changing direction, making transitions up and down, creating a good pattern and a good posture of bending through their body to create a circle. And this is our pattern that we use to be able to then take them through some challenging objects, where the horses learn to be able to go over objects, through objects, around objects. So pretty much anything you want to be able to eventually do in the saddle, you're able to do through these patterns on the ground first. And it's really about preparing your horse to be able to give them all the information they need to know before you ask them to do something in the riding or something difficult on the ground. And it's being able to develop this refinement that only through a thought the horse is understanding what it is you want. So then we come to the other part of our training, which is being able to teach the horse mentally how they respond to things in our human environment. All the things we're trying to teach the horse, of course, is being able to get them to build a bank of information of what they have to do and when they have to do it. In our human environment, of course, they're only knowing how to survive in nature, and it's our job or our responsibility to teach them that the things in our human environment are not a life-threatening threat, just like it would be in the wild. So the thing with all the groundwork where the horse is now being able to stand still is basically teaching them first, again physically in their body, how to approach an object. The first thing is that before you start with any of the tools that we work with in the training, it's having the horse first in this relaxed state in their body from the groundwork patterns. They then take that into the work with the tools. And so you're looking at the horse as being able to make a posture to be able to approach, and then the horse has a very good idea from then how they can approach an object. So we're really looking in the beginning at, you know, the dangers for the horse of feeling like it is dangerous for them to be approaching something and the object is standing still, or they are standing still and we're approaching them with the object. So it's really learning that they have this skill of knowing what to do in their physical state when they're being approached. What we try to avoid in the training is the horses being desensitized to something. It's really that they are learning a response, that physical reaction of when they feel pressure, what do I have to do in the body? So it's not that we're standing, we want to try to avoid standing all day, you know, with tools until the horses become quiet. You don't want to be doing this over and over until the horse gets used to the tools that you're using. But it's just that the horses are learning here. You see, Sophia is quite sensitive. They start to give pressure. When she's lowering her energy, the pressure's coming off. So our philosophy is really trying to teach the horse what it is they have to do in the moment of pressure, and they get some real tools and understanding the concept of what to do, that they are then able to manage themselves in a situation where there's pressure. And we're just having a really simple building block process, again, that we can then have a good breakdown, that the horse understands all the little parts and bits and pieces to be able to put that together then in the riding. Good girl. And we're of course with the tools dealing with the three main pressures that a horse is afraid of. So it's not specifically that they have to get used to an umbrella or they get used to the flag, but they just learn the concept of what to do physically in their body when they feel a pressure of movement, of touch, and then of course sound. And all the time it's that the horse is understanding what the physical action should be, and that they're able to do that no matter what tool you are producing or what effect they are having from the environment. And bit by bit you're building the horse's confidence in knowing how they should respond to these natural flight triggering elements in the environment. So another important part of our groundwork series is being able to navigate our horses through and around what would normally be a scary environment. And of course, again, this is preparation for being able to have your horses be able to ride through things, over things, around things. This is of course important preparation for when you're going to a competition and you want to be able to have your horses be able to go past the judges' box, between the pot plants, past the banners, past the signs. So we're about building an understanding about where the horse has to be. So the horse is really looking for where the comfort zone is. And so again, they're learning a concept of following your direction. So you're being able to build this communication in that the direction only becomes a thought, and when you are thinking where the horse is you're wanting the horse to go, the horse slowly is able to understand that. And you build this dialogue where the horse really learns to follow your energy and your direction, and it's a process of building up that understanding in the horse that they're following your direction and your energy and not the energy in the environment. And they build a confidence to be able to go past something, through something, over something, without it being a distraction. So the idea, of course, with all our training series is that in the end you're able to develop a line of communication with your horse that becomes hands-free. So in the riding series, you'll be able to have a good comprehensive understanding of the body control and control of your horse's feet from the saddle. You'll be able to take all your skills and understanding and knowledge from the groundwork patterns directly into the saddle and have confidence in your own body in knowing what it is you have to do. All the patterns that we are using, of course, are directly related to what we are doing from the ground, so the horse has a really good understanding of how to move the feet in all directions. You have a good control of the front legs and you have control of the hind legs with your legs. Your horse is getting confident about knowing how they should respond to the leg. They're never running away from the leg. You have a good confident feeling about how much leg you can put on your horse. Your horse is having a really good understanding of where they have to position their body and what posture to go into from the rein. You have good control going backwards, going to the side, and you're able to develop all these skills at a level that suits you. So through the riding series, you'll very quickly be able to navigate your way through obstacles and environments that in the past had frightened both you and your horse. The idea of being able to prepare your horse on the ground is to give you the ability and the confidence to do all the things you want to do in the saddle. And at the end of the day, we want you and your horse to believe everything is possible.